right behind me is where Martin Luther King was shot. A man dreaming of peace, unity, and equality. A few months ago, I reached out to a gentleman by the name of Eric, who's building a community where blacks are not allowed. It is a white-only community. And I reached out to him a few months ago and I said, Eric, I would love to come and talk to you and find out more information about what you're building. To my surprise, he actually responded to me. So we've been communicating for the past few months. It's been difficult to actually fit in each other's schedules. But finally it happened. So I flew out here in Memphis and I'm going to be spending the night here. And then in the morning, I am going to be driving up north to Arkansas, where he's actually at. It's a good 2.5 hours away from here. America is an amazing country. America is the land of opportunities. But what happens when others feel left out by this push for equality? As we are moving away from affirmative action and more towards aptitude, capacities, abilities, regardless of the skin color, is this the right move? Or is this going to leave a certain group of people further behind? And what happens when we are organizing and purposely separating ourselves by race? Is that the right thing to do? Can we just get along? So I arrived in Memphis in order to explore exactly what Eric has to say, because I believe that his opinion is actually shared by many. But the difference between Eric and many others is that he's willing to stand for what he believes in. Thanks for joining me in this journey, and let's explore a little bit what's going on the other side of the United States, a place many of you will certainly never go to. Welcome to Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah. This ain't Hollywood. It's the real South, where the dreams die fast and the guns talk louder than prayers. Welcome to Memphis. I'm from the M where the blues met blood, where the church bells ring over yellow tape mud.
Hey guys, welcome to Memphis, Tennessee. If you've been watching me for a while, I normally bring you guys content from overseas. I just recently completed a series in Latvia, and then I had to rush here, caught a flight to DC, and then flew out here to Memphis because I was finally able to line up my schedule with someone that I have been trying to film with for a while. So I will tell you more about this shortly, but I'm in Memphis for the night. Gonna be grabbing a car and then driving to Arkansas, the state next door, tomorrow morning. For those of you who are familiar, Arkansas is a state where President Clinton was governor from before he became, president of the United States. So Memphis also has quite a few things. This is the heart of soul music. You have singers like B.B. King who have left a mark in American entertainment, and one of his live bar downtown is one of the most popular places to go to. And also Elvis Presley, Graceland is right here in Tennessee. These are places that I'm hoping to show you guys, but that's not really what brings me here. What brings me here is something much more, I think, interesting, but also a little bit dangerous for me, because I'm gonna tell you guys I'm a little bit nervous. I'm gonna be meeting a man by the name of Eric. Eric is the leader of an intentional community, like he calls it, and they basically are building a white-only area, white-only neighborhood.
We have the God-given right to form communities according to whatever values we hold dear. And the government does not have the right to tell free American citizens what values they have to live according to in their own private lives.
So I'm going to be meeting with him. I tried to do this with friends, but nobody's schedule lined up, so I had to come and do it myself. So that's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be heading out to the Ozarks and basically find out why he wants to build this, and he's building and living already this white-only community, and what is life like over there. So we are supposed to meet tomorrow at 12 noon, so I'm going to be grabbing a car, and then in the morning we're going to go on this drive. It's about 2 hours from here in the Ozarks, and I'm gonna meet with him, and we're gonna have a chat about what his plans are, what he's trying to do, as we're gonna be discussing a sensitive issue of race. This is also the state where Martin Luther King was assassinated. So he lost his life at the Lorraine Hotel, and that hotel is now a museum, and it's a very emotional place. They have kept everything in place, and it's one of those things that you can't miss when you come by here. They've kept just about everything, you know, the same, like it was on that day. So this is my second time here. I came here a few years ago, but it was before I did YouTube. So today I'm back here as a YouTuber, so I can bring you guys, you know, my experience here. It's always fun coming back with a camera in your hands and bringing your audience with you. I tell you what, that's a long walk. It's been at least already 15 minutes, you know, since I've been walking. But the airport is nice and big. Got the parking lot right here. This is the outdoor area, man. Look at this place. It's nice, man. Wow. Really, really nice place. Just be ready to walk and walk a bit. It's been about I want to say 15 minutes, you know, since I started walking here. And right now it's cold in DC already. It's not quite December. What are we? November. So it's chilly. But wow, I can feel the fresh air here. It's not quite cold yet, but I have a pretty high tolerance for the cold weather. All of these right here shouldn't take me too long. I normally just rent with Hertz, but I used Booking.com this time, and it gave me $1, and it seems like everybody. Oh no, $1 does not have a line on the second floor. Okay. Alright, so my walk is not over yet. I have to get to the second floor. Oh boy. Everything else is over here, but the one I rented is upstairs. Oh man. I booked a Hyatt place. I used to work at a Hyatt, so I kind of have like this love relationship with the Hyatt. So there's two different ones, and the one I'm renting is in Germantown. The Hyatt I'm staying at is in Germantown. Germantown here is supposed to be a nice and quiet spot. So he was telling me $1 rental on the second floor booth. So this is where we are. So hopefully everything goes smoothly and we should be all set. Let's get that key. Got a car, just making sure that everything is good. Alabama, okay. There any weird scratches and everything? Okay. Alright. Always gotta check these things before they tell you that you have left some scratches. I need to just figure out where I'm going, and I'm in business here. Welcome to Memphis.
Welcome to Murder Town. Memphis ain't sleeping. Dreams get shot down. Sirens still preaching. Yeah, it's the real South. Ain't no secret. From Beale Street lights to them corners that's bleeding. M-Town. Keep your head up, no peace. Dope run the block like a pastor in a Benz. Tryna save souls while he stacking his ends. Half the hood on fentanyl, half on parole. The other half grind just to feed they souls.
We're to the hotel. I'm here at the Hyatt Place, Germantown. I'm parked for the night. So what brings me here, guys, I'm gonna meet a gentleman by the name of Eric. So Eric is behind a movement called Return to the Land. Return to the Land is a bunch of folks who decide to take control over who their neighbors are going to be, and they select people by race. So he says it's about preserving the European heritage. So people that look like me are not allowed to go there. It's a little bit of a scary thing for me being by myself in a place like that, but I tried. I reached out to a couple of friends. I tried to see if some of them could come. This has been months in the planning. I've been texting with Eric back and forth. I found his number randomly online and I reached out to him and I didn't expect a response. I told him, hey, I see what you are doing out there. I'm interested in interviewing you. Maybe, ask you a few questions and you can, explain to my audience, a little bit more about why you feel the need to build a white-only community. To my surprise, he responded to me. So that's basically how we found ourselves here. I will tell you more about this. First, I need to go and check in my room, get my key, and then we're going to continue a little bit about this conversation. Let me be in the room. It's a little bit cold, and then we're going to continue talking about this. This is the entrance. It's interesting because they have a bar like right next to the front desk, right here. Generally you have a little bit of a separation, but there's nobody here. I'm trying to get my key. I guess this is the front desk. This is the most interesting front desk I've ever seen, like right next to the bar. Wow. And here I am, excited to get in my room, shower, chill a little bit, go to sleep. But I have to wait now. I don't even know how long it's gonna be. Oh man, your boy got the drink, the pizza right here, and my key and my suitcase. The joy of traveling solo. Let's do it. Okay, so let me drop all of this stuff in here because I only have but 2 hands. So I am not going back out tonight. Guys, I am tired. I have been traveling all day. And tomorrow I have about 2-hour drive to get to this place. It's really not, this location is actually not in Tennessee. When I was setting up my meeting with Eric, he told me I can either go to Little Rock, Arkansas, or I can come to Memphis, Tennessee. And I noticed that the flights were cheaper coming into Memphis and also 30 minutes closer. So it's a 2-hour drive from here to where I'm supposed to meet him. And from Little Rock, 2.5 hours. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do Memphis. So this is how I ended up here. So this has been a 2-month process. Going back and forth, Eric is busy. He's been interviewed by so many channels. He's been on TMZ. He's been on Sky News, you name it. There's an interview about what he's doing because a lot of people have a lot of questions about really what is going on in that area. Why does he want to build an all-white community? At this time in America has gone to civil rights. America has gone to segregation, separate but equal, and all of that stuff. But some people feel that all of those things and the increase of immigration and foreigners coming in their country is making them, I'm talking about people who are Caucasian, feel like they are not treated fairly anymore. They're less likely to get jobs over minorities. And basically reverse racism is happening to them. So they feel comfortable building their own communities. So this is what's going to happen. I'm going to drive tomorrow morning and I'm going to get there. We're supposed to meet in the city. And then we're going to go ahead and get started the conversation. I want it to be blunt. I want it to be honest. I'm coming with no judgment. I really want him to just be able to express himself and tell me how he feels. I believe I'm the first Black person that's going to be interviewing him and the very first Black person in that area out there in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nothing. Am I scared? You're damn right I am scared. I'm by myself up in here. But nobody that I tried to schedule with was able to show up. Everybody gave me promises and then, I can't go. So I'm here by myself. Anyways, this is where your boy is going to be for tonight. This is my room. All right. So shower, nice little room. Hyatt always delivers. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. So guys, this is step 1 was getting here. Step 2, tomorrow we'll be driving up there. And then step 3, we'll be meeting him and interviewing him. And I'll let you guys know how it goes. I hope everything will go well. I'm a little bit nervous, man. So Eric is white, I'm Black. I'm a minority, I'm a foreigner, I'm an immigrant, and he's a white American male protecting European heritage. So we have a lot of differences, but I'm coming here with no judgment. I'm coming here to learn, to educate myself, and see why would you want to do something like this? Is it really as bad as it sounds or not? Let me know in the comments below. But for now, guys, I'm gonna settle in, go to sleep, and I'll see you guys in the morning, bright and early, as I'm driving up there to Arkansas. Wish me luck, guys. Talk to you later. Good morning, guys. It's the day has come for me to finally meet Eric. I have about a 2.5-hour drive. I'm supposed to meet him at 12:30. I'll tell you more details about this shortly, but yeah, I woke up, did my morning prayers, and it's a little bit, I'm not very scared, but I'm a little bit uncomfortable, like, to be honest with you, because I'm by myself and I wasn't supposed to do this by myself. So I'm going to an area where black people are not allowed, man. So I'm going to go downstairs, try to grab me a little bit of breakfast, whatever I can get my hands on, and then we're going to get in a car and drive up to Ivaintures, Arkansas. All right, let's go. It's going to be good to discuss some of the things that maybe if you're white, you want to say, but you're not comfortable saying, or if you're black, you want to challenge some of your ideas. Because let's face it, most of the things that most of us are comfortable with are generally accepted things, right? We are all humans, we should just get along. The reality is we don't all get along, right? And there are things that I have learned in my travels that I kind of want to put to the test, such as this idea that, we should just all accept each other, be welcoming to immigration. And I'm saying this respectfully because I am an immigrant in the United States, so, I know somebody's going to be like, Ivan, you're not African American, you don't understand the struggle. I'm a black man in America, and until I open my mouth, people don't know where I'm from. And when I deal with the police or the authority, institutions, and other people around, what they see is a black face. They don't see an African face. So we may not have the same background, but we have a very similar experience being black in America. So I don't want to divide this further, but that's just the reality sometimes. So let's see. Milk over here, orange juice, apple juice, some potatoes, and some fruits, So I'm gonna grab a couple of things, and then we're gonna hit the road. So here we are. Breakfast is done. So now I'm just gonna hop in my car and basically drive, almost 3 hours. It's exactly 2 hours and 40 minutes to a city called Hardy, Arkansas. I was supposed to go straight to the RTTL area, which is Return to the Land area, which is the white only area. I was supposed to drive straight up there, but then after thinking about it, I decided that it was better for me to, guys, I was nervous because I actually did not tell them that I have a car here. And many times when you're driving a hotel, you need to let them know so they give you a pass, but the Chevy is still over here. So everything is good. Whew. I was getting a little bit nervous because I'm like, man, I totally forgot yesterday when I was coming in, I had all this luggage and stuff. I had my food, I had all that stuff, so I didn't think about letting them know, but I'm glad that my car is still over here, because in some hotels they will literally tow your car away if you don't have a parking pass. But anyways, I was supposed to meet Eric straight to that area, but then man, I figured, it's better we meet outside of it first, because I want to check about my safety. I want to talk to him a little bit more. I'm a little bit nervous going straight there, So I'm like, look, let's just meet in the cafe, talk about the ground rules, and we get started. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just go straight there. I'm going to meet him at a cafe, maybe grab a coffee, maybe not, but at least talk a little bit off camera first, figuring out, what he's comfortable with, what I'm comfortable with, and then we go from there. So we are on the road for about 3 hours, guys. Let's go.
Look, we built kingdoms from dust, now we fighting for blocks. Dreams in the barrel and we aiming at ops. Mama's praying every night, but the streets don't heal. Too many coffins from pride we refuse to fill. They say it's chains on the brain, I can't lie, it's true. Cause we flex for the grand, but can't pay what's due. Everybody screaming real, but we dying for fake. Trading purpose for.
Guys, I have to tell you, since I got here yesterday, man, there's a lot of freaking police officers here. There's a lot of cops, man. You know, like, there's a lot of police and highways around America, but this is unique here. I don't know if it's because they're currently enforcing, the president has sent federal troops around in order to reduce crime. But just coming out of the airport yesterday, I saw no less than 10 patrol cars. They're checking speed and everything. And since I started driving here, I've seen several cars, you know, getting pulled over. So your boy is not going to be speeding. I'm going to be following the speed limit and going with the flow of traffic.
Nobody looks just like me. They told me watch the man in white, I should fear. But it's my own kind of when the shooting. Yeah, mirror in the rear view, pain so clear. How we gon' rise if we hate who's in? Mirror in the rear view, time to steer. Cause love ain't dead, it's just drowned in fear. Look, we want peace, but we profit from the chaos we sell. Turn trauma to fashion and call it well. Brothers killing brothers over names and respect. But respect don't mean death, it means build and protect. We need fathers, not followers, pillars, not posts. We lost roots when the world sold us lights for hope. They say we free, but freedom got a fine print clause. You can't rise if you don't.
So guys, we have about an hour left before we get to the cafe where I'm supposed to meet Eric. But it's been a very, driving around the US, man, it's such a vast country. You know, I spent a lot of time looking at nothingness. At least right now I have some trees. But earlier I crossed an area that had, I believe, it was a cotton field that was, you know, growing still in that area. I think maybe in parts of the US they're still growing cotton that way. I'm assuming so. If you are from Tennessee or any of these mid-southern states, let me know. Is cotton still, you know, something that's grown locally here? If my guess is, it probably is. But yeah, I just wanted to spend a few minutes to tell you guys, you know, just as I'm heading to this area, I want to mention the fact that as I have traveled around the world, you know, one thing that may not be very popular to say, or maybe controversial to some of you guys, is that there is a correlation between homogeny and safety. It seems like the countries with the least amount of diversity turn out to be the safest countries in the world. You can look at places like New Zealand. You can look at countries like Japan. You look at, in Europe, most Scandinavian countries are often rated as, you know, the safest countries in the world. And one thing they all have in common is they are some of the most homogeneous countries in the world. So with that in mind, you know, you can understand how for some people, you know, diversity may not necessarily be viewed as a strength, because one of the reasons why Eric is building this, like he calls it, intentional community with only white people, is because one of the reasons is his safety concerns, and he feels like, you know, being around people like him, people that look like him, they are more likely to trust each other, they are more likely to understand each other, and they are more likely to get along. One thing we can't deny is the fact that people usually get along better with others that look like them. I remember when I was in high school, you know, you had the kids, you know, the immigrant kids, like the foreigners, Africans, who would all sit together. You have next to the black American kids, and then you had the white kids on their own. Like, nobody's telling you not to go into the other group. It just seems like naturally people just sat next to, you know, others that they have the most in common with. And I live in a predominantly black, you know, neighborhood. I live in a predominantly black county, PG County. There are no rules that say that white people cannot move there, But what ends up happening is that people have the tendency to go around the folks that they have the most in common with. What's unique with what Eric is building is the fact that he makes sure that unless you are of European descent, not Jewish, and not gay, you cannot live in that area. So I think it's a very interesting concept. I think that it's quite shocking for some of you guys, I'm sure, to hear something like this. But it's when you look at the United States, you look at the city, even like New York, you see they have Jewish neighborhoods, they have Italian neighborhoods, they have black neighborhoods, and they have areas that have the most amount of immigrants. So there's no rules that tell you cannot move to a Jewish area. There's no such rule. It's just people kind of get together among the folks that they have the most in common with. So again, I think what might be shocking with what Eric is doing is the extent in which he goes out to make sure that there's absolutely nobody else in that neighborhood except people of his choosing. You have to apply, and they review your file, and then they decide whether or not you're going to be admitted in that area. I'm going to ask him a little bit more about this. I've watched a lot of his interviews, and he has been very open about his views. He does not believe in the evolution tale. He does not believe we all come from Africa. He does not believe that it's best for us to mix. But one thing that's not clear is that, does he believe one race is superior than another? And does he believe one race is inclined generally to be smarter or more intelligent than another race? So we'll see. Eric Orwoll is a very interesting man, and I'm a little bit nervous going here by myself. Like I said, I'm in the middle of nowhere, guys. Look, and I've been at this for about an hour and a half now. I have a good hour left, and we're gonna be close to the Ozarks. The Ozarks, I think is what it's called, is this area where they have built that return to the land place. They have their own logo, they have their own everything, they do their own construction, they do everything on their own. Like I said, I believe I'll be the first black person there. Let's see what is happening in the Ozarks. So I made it here to Arkansas officially. I've already seen the big old red flag and some of the president's flags out here. Definitely in Arkansas. This is a state that I've never been to before, but I'm in the rural area here. It's a little bit raining. I hope it's gonna stop at some point. But not a lot of people out, and then you have some cows over here. I'm about 36 minutes out from the cafe where we're supposed to be. I'm gonna be making it about 45 minutes before my meeting with Eric, who's supposed to meet me around 12:30. So yeah, they've chose this area because, given that the United States has civil rights laws and fair housing laws, apparently it's a lot easier here to discriminate and, basically set yourself up in this area without breaking any laws. They found it a lot easier, but they're planning to extend. Recently, Eric went to Idaho, and he is looking into expanding this return to the land community into other states, and not always just housing, but he's looking into building also community centers and areas like that for white only. All right, so that's basically what his idea is. And it's a little bit weird, I have to say, to be here. A little bit scary too, but like I said, this has been in the works for a while, and we'll see. You have a Dollar General store right here. There's a cemetery right there. Alright. And then besides that, you just have woods and houses, man. Definitely a very rural area in the middle of Arkansas here. Gonna see what is happening. So yeah, I'm just gonna, continue to drive, get to the coffee place, maybe grab me some coffee, and then and go from there. Let's do it.
I don't need to draw a line, just want a little peace of mind. A place that feels like yesterday, where my hands know the work, my heart knows the way. Ain't running from change, just trying to stand, holding on to where I first became a man.
There's a tremendous amount of flags here, and then you have a lot of open roads, like open fields like this, farmland, and there quite a few churches as well. I'm crossing. It's definitely a very rural area, and just like what you would imagine, very lonely. Not a lot of things happening here. We are definitely in deep Arkansas here, man. Whoa. So this area is just like what you would imagine, like people would call it country town. That's what it feels like. That's the vibe you get. So I am getting closer and closer, and just want to show you guys a little bit of the vibe of what's happening here, so you guys can see. Not much going on outside, and now with this rain, it's probably gonna be about the same. See another church right here, First Baptist, so, and then another one, Church of Christ, right there. So that's one thing with these with these country towns, you definitely have a tremendous amount of freaking churches, man. A lot of churches. So I wanted to get gas, but I think this one is closed. Maybe, I don't know. I still have gas, but I'd rather fill up my tank, right now. So on my way back, I don't have to stop anymore. Ravenden or Ravenden, I don't know if it's Ravenden or Ravenden, but that's the name of the place where he lives, and that's the address he gave me that we're supposed to meet at. But like I said, I suggested that we meet at a coffee, just kind of establish some basic understanding about how we're going to be conducting this interview, and then go from there. All right, so I'm getting closer and closer, guys. Whew.
Don't wanna judge, don't wanna fight, just tired of learning how to live each night. The world keeps spinning, I'm trying to cope, hanging on a memory like a piece of rope. I don't need to draw a line, just
so making a quick stop here, filling up my tank. It looks like gas here is very cheap, man. So unless this car doesn't consume a lot, I'm getting basically half a tank, and it's $2.55 per gallon for regular, and $3.39 for diesel. Very, very cheap. All right, let's continue.
I ain't full of hate, don't paint me wrong.
This is the city of Hardy here. This is where I'm going to be meeting Eric. This is a place of my choosing, because I didn't want to start, being all the way up there. I wanted to meet him somewhere, downtown, so we can kind of see what we're going to be talking about, and like I said, establish some ground rules and everything. See what he's comfortable discussing, what he isn't. So you can see it's a very small area, out here in Arkansas, and You know, this is the corner booth. And breakfast here is served all freaking day, man. You know? So that's where I told him I wanted to meet him at. And he agreed. But I think I'm just gonna, you know, basically chill in the car and go from there. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's any black people here. You know, this is a downtown area, but you know, I think I'm just gonna chill in the area and then, you know, see what's up from here. Alright, so it says free parking, so that's good. That's where I'm gonna be. Alright, so that's what it is. I'm going to park and just wait. I'm about 40 minutes early, and there's a lot of thoughts going through my head. I've been able during the ride to listen to him. You know, he recently visited Orania. For those of you who are not familiar, Orania is a white-only community in the middle of South Africa. There's been a few people that have gone there and filmed, so you have, you know, check it out on YouTube if you are not familiar. So they basically just are building their own country, you know, within South Africa, and it's white only. And so I've never been there, but that has been for a while his inspiration to build this return to the land area. There are people living there already. I don't know how many families, but there are people living there already. And then another thing about Eric, I asked him when I was coming here if this area is a sundown town, and he said it's not a literal sundown town. He didn't say it's not a sundown town. He said it's not a literal. So, you know, to avoid any issues, I just gonna meet him, talk to him, and then get out of here, because I don't really know what he means by it's not a literal sundown town. So for those of you who aren't familiar with sundown town, this is a concept that has been in some American town since the 1900s. It's been around for a very, very long time. You know, basically, if you are here after dark, threats of force, violence, or any means to remove you from the premises will be used. So if you are black, you should not be here after dark. So again, I don't know if this area is a sundown town, but he basically told me that, you know, he's going to be, he told me it's not a literal sundown town, but it's still daytime. It's 12 o'clock. We're going to meet up, and then I'm going to get out of here. So I'll keep you guys posted. So Eric arrived, and we sat down for a coffee to start a conversation.
You know, you couldn't apply to live there because you don't fit into the identity group that we're trying to preserve.
Then we drove off the beaten path, deep into the woods, and entered the settlement, a private area reserved for white residents only. This is, okay. Right on.
The problem is that white Americans have not organized because we've always been the majority. The proportion of our different brain areas, like brain structure, actually differs by race. Skull shape differs by race.
If it's your first time on the channel, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
Welcome to Murder Town. Memphis ain't sleeping. Dreams get shot down. Sirens still preaching. Yeah, it's the real South. Ain't no secret. From Beale Street lights to them corners that's bleeding. Yeah. Every man got choices, live fast, die slow. Either find a lane or the streets say go. Ain't no handouts, just hunger and hate. And the judge don't smile when he seal your fate. Youngins wear pain like they wear new kicks. Lost innocence traded for extended clips.